should have on paper ones like that, but all the names that we would mention are just not on form. They're just all
Yeah.
gone off the boil big time.
No, I think if you get voted off the show, then you play no part. They should have done a TV series on it, shouldn't they?
Oh.
I think Tuchel has looked at it and said, "Hey, the massive problem with England in this World Cup is the defence is nowhere near as good as it has been in the past."
Is he the best defender in the world? No, he can sometimes get accused of not being the most defensively minded, but what he brings going the other way is night and day compared to maybe anybody else in this squad. So even if you didn't want to start him, wouldn't you be taking him just so you've got that option in your squad? Hello and welcome to Random Fandom, the podcast where we try and follow a random team along each week and find someone to come on and tell us why they support them. That's what we try to do normally. I'm Rob and joining me is John, and we've got a bit of fixture congestion backing up here, John. Between various different things getting in the way, whether it's work, family commitments, you coming back from Buffalo with food poisoning, we've got at least 2 games in hand that we've got to make up. We had to postpone our Brackley Town fixture. We're trying to get Dan on for Reading, and that's been postponed twice. So we thought we better just come on and record something before people think we've just completely disappeared. So how you doing, John? You all over that food poisoning now?
Oh my God, that was horrific. But yes, feeling much better and excited for this episode.
Yeah, we were having a chat about what we were going to cover. We're still going to try and get Dan on for Reading, and we're still trying to get a Brackley Town fan on. But we were like, well, let's A, pick another team this week, but B, switch focus to looking ahead to the World Cup because it's going to be here sooner than we know it. And we were just talking before we hit record. We haven't really both fully switched focus to what's going on with England yet, and it's going to be just upon us this week as we go into kind of a couple of the friendlies. So we thought we'll A, take a look at the squad that Tuchel's picked now, the 35-man squad. John's going to talk us through quite what the heck he's doing with his split camp. And then we thought we'd have a bit of fun looking at the 35-man squad and saying, well, FIFA allows you to declare up to a 26-man squad for the World. So if we just assume that these 35 are the 35, which we know they probably won't be, which 9 would we give the axe to make our 26-man squad? So before we jump in there, do you want to explain what the heck's going on with this split training camp thing?
Yes, it's unprecedented, isn't it? And it caused some kerfuffle, shall we say, with the media. But yeah, so we have 2 fixtures. We've got the Uruguay game on the Friday, 27th of March, and then we have the Japan game, Tuesday, 21st of March. So he's kind of looked at it and said, well, we have 11 players that have played more minutes than anyone else. So we're going to leave these 11 players for the moment. And what they're going to do is start with a larger squad, 19 players and 4 goalkeepers. Okay, for the first part of the camp. The first part of the camp will lead us up into that Uruguay game. And then what he's going to do is on the Saturday morning after we've played Uruguay, he's going to bring those 11 players in, and then he's going to release some players, which I would not like to be the released players, but he's going to get rid of, I guess, 10 players roughly, until he's going to have a squad of 22 players. So he's going to bring in the new 11, have 11, and then so we'll have a 22 player squad plus goalkeepers. To do the second part of the camp and for the Japan game.
So I get the first part. There's a lot of players that have played a lot of minutes. I know he kind of pulled out Harry Kane as being one of those where he's going to just sort of say, look, I'm going to let you off a little bit and have a little bit of a rest. You can come and join me for the second one.
I can give you those 11 players if you want.
Oh, yes, please. Is Harry Kane one of them? I'm just guessing.
He is. You've done well there. You've done great knowledge. So we've got Dean Henderson, Dan Burn, Mark Gay, Esri Konza, Nico O'Reilly, Elliot Anderson, Declan Rice, Morgan Rogers, Anthony Gordon, Harry Kane, and Bukayo Saka. So those are the
Okay.
players that have played more minutes than anyone else. About 4,000, he was saying, and he's confident that he knows what those players bring to the squad. So presumably that means that he doesn't know what the other players bring to the squad. So it's going to be a very interesting first part of the camp to look at these 19 players plus goalkeeper.
Yeah, because like, I get that. What I hadn't realized till you just took us through it was that when he brings them all back together, I just thought it was going to be a 35-man squad that he would let train together, see how they all get on, look at the dynamics between players. If he's got any last little ideas in his head of, oh, he's going to play well with him, he would look at them all as a big ensemble and then decide whenever the deadline is in, I think in May, that he has to make his squad announcement. But you're basically saying that after they come, the other those 11 come back in, he's going to walk around the training each morning and just tap a few people on the shoulder and you're out, son.
Yep. See ya.
Now,
And I think he's doing that because, again, I'm inferring by what he's saying, which is very difficult because he doesn't give a lot away. But he's going to have a 23 to 26 man squad for the World Cup. He wants to keep those numbers, those small numbers.
I think anybody who gets sent home after the Uruguay game is still in contention. Or do you not think it really matters who goes when?
No, I think if you get voted off the show, then you play no part. They should have done a TV series on it, shouldn't they?
Oh, yeah,
Um,
reality show.
and then there's one major name that is not on any of those lists, which is Trent.
Well, I was going to. So now that you've brought us up to speed on what's happening, let's take a look. Looking at the 35-man name here, and first of all, the emissions. So that's exactly where I was going to go. Now, I've got no problem with the goalkeepers that he's picked. I don't think there are any omissions in there. So unless you're going to say, "Oh no, we definitely should have had whoever," let's skip goalkeepers.
And I am in
Okay.
agreement. Yeah.
So defenders, why is Trent not in this squad now? Is he the best defender in the world? No, he can sometimes get accused of not being the most defensively minded, but what he brings going the other way is night and day compared to maybe anybody else in this squad. So even if you didn't want to start him, wouldn't you be taking him just so you've got that option in your squad?
I would. Yes. Um, he would be in the Spain team. He would be in the Italian team. Be in the Brazil team. He would get in other teams, but I just think maybe the practicality of a German manager. He wants to. I'm guessing he's just wants the defense to be as solid as possible and have the creativity in the midfield and up front. He doesn't want the
So
creativity at right back.
okay, so and I'm with you on that. Apart from then, one name kind of jumps out on me as to then why is this person in the squad? And yes, I know people are going to say, "Oh, you're an Arsenal fan, typical Arsenal fan," but Jed Spence,
Mhm.
he's playing in a Tottenham team that are on the verge of relegation. He's not even always playing, and people often say about him that one of his best qualities is what he does at the other end of the pitch because he's good on the overlap and can put a cross in. So you're basically sort of saying that he's oh, I'm really going to get haters for this one, but he's like the Timu Trent Alexander Arnold, right? He's like, not that I can say his name, but isn't he the same player, but just not as good? Not quite as good defensively,
But
but renowned for going forward.
I would completely agree with you. Only he's on the left side as opposed to the right side, which
Yeah.
which I
Mm.
don't know if he's thinking I need something creative at left back, but not a right back, which would we're going into deep tactics, which again I'm not in his head, and I don't. It's hard to say, but having a look at the squad which I know we're going to go into depth here, but we have a lot of left backs, and I think it's a very good suggestion that he might be axed because we got a lot of left backs.
Well, let's do this then. So, we got the defenders. We got Dan Burn, Mark Geyer, Lewis Hall. We got Ezri Konsa, Tivo Livramento, Harry Maguire, Nico O'Reilly, which I always call Nico Riley. Always seem to manage to miss out the extra O in there. Jed Spence, John Stones, Fikayo Tomori, and Ben White. Now, other than Trent, I can't think of anybody that's screaming that we're missing. You know, the Arsenal fan in me would say, had he kept his minutes up in the first team, Lewis Skelly should have been on the list, but he can't because he's not playing for Arsenal at the moment, so he absolutely doesn't get an England nod. So I don't see there's anyone really missing other than Trent on that list. Uh, if you're how many defenders is that? That's now I've got to count in real time. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Do you think he's playing a back four, or is he going to play a back three?
He's going to play a back four. Well, he seems to be consistent with a 4-2-3-1 formation.
Okay, so you're going to take four. You've got 11 defenders there. Centre backs, you've really got what? Burn, Geyer, Conser, Maguire, and Stones. Is that right? Am I missing anyone on that list? So there's like four or five centre backs he's picked out of 11.
I
Uh,
I must have a different list to you. This might cause issues.
oh, this might cause issues. I'm on the ESPN website, but there we go. Who have you got then on the list? Did people
Like,
drop out that have been because Ben White got drafted in like the other day, didn't he?
all right, you help me here. I'm gonna read out the defenders that I
Oh,
have. All
dope.
right, you tell me to cross them out if you if you think. So I
Nothing
got
like preparing.
right Tamori,
Yep.
Kwanzaa,
Oh no,
the
I haven't
excellent
got him on here. Yeah, okay. Hmm.
James.
Oh no, let's okay. I could maybe this is a completely maybe ESPN. Where did you get your list from? Look at this in real time. We're going to be working out what the heck's going on.
FOTMob is my mobile app of
Oh, okay.
choice.
That's a okay. Tell you what, I am going to go to the classic BBC website, and we're going to get this once and for all. So here we go. Okay.
Because he must have announced all of the names, right?
Yeah, yeah, he did.
I
But we
thought.
did get some people pull out. Like I know Eze dropped out through injury. We had a couple of others. Ben White got a call up, which was surprising given that he's been out of the England setup for like a million years so far. So where are we? Why can you never find something when you actually want to find it straight away? That's extremely. Anyway, keep going. Go through the defenders on there. Who have you got that you're gonna um who are you axing apart from Jed then, or how many defenders do you think make the squad? Because we've got to have three. Got to have three goalkeepers. He's got 11 defenders named in there at the moment. They usually go heavy on defense in terms of having enough coverage. But if you've got four defenders across the back four and you want to have two in a box, that's eight. And he's named 11, I think, at the moment. So while I just look at the official list, who's not making it for you?
Well, I mean, if you watch the final, I'm sorry to bring it up.
You
I'm
don't,
sorry to bring it up,
I,
Rob.
it's
But if you
fine. It's fine. I've moved on. It's all good.
but if you watch that final, Man City against Arsenal, I mean, O'Reilly has absolutely put himself in massive contention on the left side.
He
I
has,
like
yeah.
I like Lewis Skelly. He should be playing for a team where he's getting minutes. Um, Livramento could be on that side. I would drop Hall and Spence, but like this, honestly, I don't think I've ever witnessed a England team in my lifetime where we have so like they're all interchangeable. There's so many players that can play different positions. It's going to be such a hard squad to throw people out of.
Yeah, although I think like me and you mentioned on one of the early episodes was our issue was the defense. That
Mm.
was it really were we blessed with riches in the center? Still look at that and think, oh, I don't know, the jury's out for me. I'm just not seeing a rock solid centre back partnership there. Um,
I mean, Stones is always injured,
yeah, yeah, exactly. He never
so
gets more than about four games in a row uh, for City.
I'd probably get rid of him. I can't stand Maguire. I don't, I don't think
Tell us what you think. Tell us what you think.
I don't think he should be anywhere near an England team. So I would get rid of those two, and I would have Gahey and Byrne, or Gahey and Konza
Yeah,
in the middle.
Yeah. I mean, so just to make this definitely right now, I've gone to englandfootball.com and here we have the squad. So yeah, we got Byrne, Geyer, Hall, Conser, Livramento, Maguire, O'Reilly, Conser, Spence, Stones, and Tamori. That is the official list. So you're getting so Stones is always injured. Spence probably isn't up to it. You got to take Maguire even if you don't like him though, because even if you're not going to start him, surely he has to be there as backup centre back unless you're gonna. Because I think it's Gaya and Konsa maybe start at centre back because they used to play together at Villa, so maybe there's a partnership that can be rekindled there. I'm a big believer that defenders need to form a good partnership.
Hmm.
I think one of the reasons Arsenal are doing so well this year is that Saliba and Gabriel partnership. It's like in the good old days with Bold and Adams, where they were just cyclically linked. They knew who to
Hmm.
cover without even having to talk to each other. So for me, I'd be going Konsa and Gaya, I think, as my starting centre backs.
Would not disagree with that.
And then I'm looking at, I do like Livramento, I really do, but
Hmm.
you make a good shout about O'Reilly on that left hand side. So maybe he's going to get my starting berth on left back. And then right back, I just think we're a bit.
Well, it would be James, right? He's first choice, but again, he gets injured a lot as well.
He gets injured. Yeah, now this list doesn't mention James. It doesn't mention Ben White, who I know did get called up. So again, even if the official England's website isn't fully up to date here, I don't know if they've drafted in other ones. But hey, I'm going to go with the list that we got in front of us. So again, yeah, James, he's just broken all the time. So can you rely on him for tournament football? Because the games come thick and fast. There's not much recovery time in there.
Right. So it would cry out for Trent.
I know.
I don't understand why he's not in the squad. He would be starting at right back for me.
So I mean, who does start at right back out of this list then? Who's the only real proper right back in here?
James,
Yeah.
Tamori.
Is Tamori? I wasn't sure if he was centre back. Is he a right back?
He's a right. Well, he's like Kwanzaa. He's a centre back and he can play on the right.
But you don't want a jack of all trades just to make up the numbers at right back, do you? You don't want a centre back who can play right back. You want a right back who can play right back, like Trent.
Well, yeah,
Uh,
which makes it more mad. His
it
decision.
really
I don't
does.
know.
It really does. But um, okay, right. So let's move on and have a look at the midfield then. Which where we do seem to have an embarrassment of riches, although we have had a couple of dropouts. Like Eze apparently could be out for a month now. They're saying the injury that he picked up against Leverkusen that caused him to miss the final. So we'll see about that one. But he's really listed in the forwards. So if you look at midfield, you've got on this list anyway on the England website we have Elliot Anderson, Jude Bellingham, James Garner, Jordan Henderson, Kobe Mainu, Declan Rice, Morgan Rogers, and Adam Wharton. What have you got on your list? Got any others to throw in?
You said Ghana, did you?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I have the same list, and I mean, you could again, like we got players that played lots of different positions. So um,
But if we take that as the midfield, and you like you said,
yeah,
he likes to do the 4-2-3-1,
3-1.
4-2,
Yeah.
4-2-3-1. So
Mhm.
you've got two anchoring midfielders. I'm gonna go straight in there and say, and be completely biased and say Declan Rice 100% has to be one of those anchoring midfielders.
And
Um,
Anderson.
okay, so that's the other one you'd pick, yeah?
Yeah, Anderson and Rice. I would have in those two positions. Mainu has turned his form around and is a very, very good player. So I wouldn't mind him filling in for Anderson. Henderson can do a job if he's called on, but I wouldn't start him. But he's a
No.
good player to have in the team. Um, but he likes, Wharton's a good player.
He is. I do like him, and I like the way he always seems to make things happen and drive the ball forward. He's always forward looking. He's not
Mm,
too much of a sideways and back passer.
yeah,
I like Wharton. Now, on this list, in that 4-2-3-1, the two wide players are likely to come from the forward list that we haven't got to yet, but the creative centre midfielder is likely to be Bellingham, I would have thought.
yeah, I would have thought. Well, you got Bellingham and Rodgers.
You got yeah. So Rogers, I think he's started this season on fire. I think he's gone off a bit of a cliff over the last few weeks, maybe even couple of months. He's just not been where he has. And I know form is temporary and class is permanent or whatever the saying is, and he's definitely got it. But Bellingham hasn't been lining it up for Madrid either, and has been injured for a little bit. So I am a little bit worried about that. And you could pop Eze in there as well. He's
Palm,
injured at the moment, and God knows how
Palmer.
he'll come back. Palmer, yeah, and who's been terrible since starting the season on fire. Palmer's got no form to speak of. Phil Foden maybe, but he can't even get a look in. I think Wayne Rooney called his substitute appearance a bit of a charity show at the weekend. It's like, what on earth did he come on for the last 2 minutes? It's like, so I was going back like 6 months and thinking we had an embarrassment of riches in this creative midfield role,
I
and
did
they've
tell
all
you.
fallen off a cliff for
I
form.
did. Well, if you listen to that episode, I did say we are not as good as. It's the worst England team in my lifetime, I said, and I was
It's not.
shunned.
It's not.
I
We've
was
had worse
shunned.
than this.
I don't. Not in the World Cups. I honestly, I don't think we have.
I mean, if you can wave a magic wand, or Tuchel can kind of get them all pulling in the same direction, there's definitely an embarrassment of riches to put in there. If you could get a Palmer on top form, or if you could get Foden or Bellingham, Rogers, any of these, he's got way too many choices to make. But right now, it's like, which is going to be the best of an off-form bunch? Because none of them are lighting it up, and it could be like it could get worse because it's a long season and there's still lots of competitive games to play in the Premier League yet, and then you're going to expect them to just pack their suitcase and head off to the World Cup. It's I'm really worried about that creative role.
Hmm.
Who you put in there? Who's your number one pick then?
Palmer, or
Palmer.
well, I don't know, Bellingham, probably Bellingham. But there's the advantage of this England team is they are interchangeable. You can move lots of players into different positions.
True. True. Yep.
So
True.
I think that's our strength.
And if we look at that on this list, we've got 8 of 8 midfielders that are probably covering 3 roles. So I think again, you got to hack 2 off this list, and I think if 2 go off this list for me, unfortunately, it is 2 out of Garner, Mainu, and Wharton. I think it would be 2 from those 3 that go. I think
I
Elliot Anderson has done enough to cement. He's got a lot of the top teams sniffing around him. He's playing really well in a Forest team that's fighting off relegation. So I think he would keep it, and everyone else just feels like too big a name to be let go.
Yeah, I would agree with Garner and Wharton. I think Mainu played really well last tournament and
Fair
probably
enough.
just deserves his place.
So if we look to the top end of the pitch, again, some of this is going to be swapped out because of injuries and things, but the list on here is Bowen, Calvert-Lewin, or Eze, we know is injured for this set of friendlies, Foden, Gordon, Kane, Madueke, Palmer, Rashford, Saka, and Solanke. So again, and if he plays one up front, that is, well, no, we got the 2 wingers. Sorry, we got the 2 wingers to pop into here
Yeah.
as well. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 players covering 3 positions. And
Hmm.
because they can be all interchangeable, I think this is the area on the list that I think gets the most hacking in terms of people that are let go. So many forwards have been picked, and because if we go with that formation, so many of the defenders will need to be kept in order to give us coverage in case we get an injury. Same thing for the midfielders. So I think this is the area where he's over selected, and there's going to be the most disappointed people come out of this
Hmm.
section, I think. So me and you don't even have to even debate this. The one is Harry Kane.
Yes. The one up
So
front is Harry Kane, yeah. And
the
I
one up
think
front is yeah, go on.
I think on the left, sorry, on the right is Saka.
Yeah,
I can't see any replacement for him. And I would go Gordon on the left.
yeah, I'd agree. I think those are the 3 starters across those positions, and then I think you take one pure striker to support Kane in case you either need to rest him or he gets injured. So I think it's one of Calvert-Lewin or Solanke or Rashford. Um, Rashford
Or
is
Watkins.
playing. Is Watkins been selected? Has he? Not on this list, you see. But
No, but he's still in his thoughts because Tuchel's said he knows what Watkins can do and he wants to
oh,
see
that's right.
um, what others. So he's still definitely in play.
Yeah, and I don't think Abraham's done enough to get into Tuchel's thoughts coming back to Villa.
No.
So it'd just be Watkins is probably the only other striker sitting around there, right, that has got a chance
Hmm.
of coming in. But if you then look, Rashford's kind of got that extra bit of dimension that you can play down the middle, but you can also put him on the wing. So if you kind of pick him, you can get a buy one get one free in terms of coverage.
Hmm.
Uh, Madueke can go down either wing and is actually really good. I know again biased, but he's been a good understudy for Saka and Martinelli in the Arsenal team, and is on form because when he's come on, he's made impacts in games. So then you're into that. Well, it's someone that I like, but I just don't know that he'll get in the squad. Is Jared Bowen? I think he's just not a fashionable player. He's not a trendy name, but he's a bloody good player. But I don't think he'll get in.
He's an amazing player, but he does it. I don't know. He hasn't played that great for England. Um, I would drop Bowen and Eze. Sorry, sorry, Rob.
No, I mean as a um, if if we're saying that he would be in the one behind, and we go and say Bellingham's there with Rodgers as an understudy, then if he doesn't come back from his injury, I think in time to kind of impress and 100%. Otherwise, I would keep him in there because I would keep him in there ahead of Foden or Palmer because at least when Eze plays, he does something, and those two have done nothing for the last 3 months. So I wouldn't be keeping if Eze comes back fit. I wouldn't be keeping Foden or Palmer ahead of him because those two have just fallen off a cliff. They've just done nothing.
So
Uh,
you would drop Palmer or Foden?
Yeah, I would.
You
I'd probably drop Foden purely because Palmer at least is getting the minutes and is got match sharpness, even if for some reason the form has dropped away. And maybe that's just because the way that Rossini has got them set up and Chelsea have been such a cluster this year that they keep swapping coaches and formations that maybe that's just not brought the best out of Palmer. But at least he's match fit. Foden's just gone AWOL for about six
mm,
months. I
yeah,
mean, barely got any minutes under his belt. So Pepper's completely lost faith in him. So I'm not like sure why I would keep him in the England squad either. To be honest,
because
there you go.
we know what he can do.
Heck, we know what can do. Has he ever done it for England?
Patches, patches.
Patches. Which then kind of means you're down to Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Solanke, and Rashford to support Kane. I'm saying probably Rashford just because he's playing in the Barcelona team and he's doing all right, and I don't know that Calvert-Lewin is an England striker anymore
I,
or
I agree
ever.
with I agree with Rashford. He's come into a lot more form than anyone else on this list, except for Kane, maybe.
So who are you keeping as your? If you have to take an out and out striker to be there just in case Kane gets injured, who are you taking? You're taking Rashford.
Rashford and Watkins.
Oh, Watkins, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Calvert Lewin and Dominic Solanke, they're getting tapped on the shoulder in the second part of this fixtures and sent home, yeah,
I I
along with
I
Jarrod Bowen.
I think so. Yeah. Hmm.
Okay. So what we're basically saying is, and the last thing we haven't done is kick a keeper out because we got one, two, three, four, five keepers on the list. I've kicked two keepers out because I think he's only going to take three.
I
FIFA
think
says
he's
you've
going
got
to
to
take.
take three.
I think he's going to take four, but
Why would you burn a
I
squad
don't.
place with an extra keeper?
I don't know, but he has mentioned it. He said England have always taken four, and I think that's a good idea. That's what he said. He may just be messing around with us. Um, but I would have personally Jordan Pickford, backup Dean Henderson, and then James Trafford as number three.
Yeah,
But
so
you being
Steele
an
and
Arsenal
Ramsdale get
fan,
punted out, yeah?
yeah, unless you as an Arsenal fan might prefer Ramsdale, but
No, I mean, there's a reason we didn't keep him. He's a good he's a good keeper. He's definitely a good keeper, but I'm not sure that he's got the mistake in his locker. The I, I just think Pickford is absolutely nailed on for the number one and for good
yeah,
reason. He's playing really, really well for Everton. I think I agree with you then that Trafford Trafford has got to be so gutted with the decision making he made this year because or that he got hoodwinked because he went to City thinking he was going to be the number one keeper after Edison had gone and it was his number one shirt and then what was he there about a week before they
Donnarumma.
bought in Donnarumma? I mean, It's got to be a kick in the teeth for him.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
unfortunately, he showed how good he was in the cup final with his triple save in the opening few minutes. So let's not talk about the cup final again. Uh,
It's not a
so
bad, not
we
a bad reserve keeper. Yeah.
so we're binning off. I can't let us take four. I'm sorry. If we're doing this, we're only taking three keepers, John. Yeah, and we're binning off two.
Well, I agree with you. I think he should only take three keepers, but what his comment makes me think that he's going with four. But
Well, this is our squad, so we're kicking two of them
all
into
right,
touch. So
yeah,
we've got to get rid of nine. So we've already got rid
yeah.
of Ramsdale and Steele. So that's two. We already got rid of Spence. That's three. That's gone. And who else did we get rid of? We wanted to get rid of Harry Maguire, but I think unfortunately we have to
S-
take him, right?
s- s- Stones. I mean,
Stones because
he's
he's
going to
always
get
injured.
injured.
Yeah. So that's four down there. We've already said that Wharton and Garner don't make
Well,
it, so that's another two.
yeah, and
Okay.
then you said Lewis Skelly because he's not playing for
Six.
Arsenal,
No, I
and we've
said
got
I would
too
like
many
to
left
pick him, but
backs.
we can't because I can understand why he didn't make the squad because he's just not playing. So we've been two there. So that's six, and then we've said Bowen, Calvert Lewin, and then I wanted to bin off Foden, and you wanted to bin off Eze. But okay, so we'll have to arm wrestle that one out. But either way, that means we've binned off one from the forward. That's nine. We have binned off nine people from this list. That's it. We've got our World Cup squad, John.
Yeah, but I think we might have taken. He normally has an extra striker, so I think we've got too many left backs. So I think we could get rid
Okay.
of Spence and Lewis Kelly. You'd still have
No,
O'Reilly
Lewis
with a
Kelly's not
rip.
in the not. He's not in the squad. Do you mean Lewis Hall?
No, no, I've got Lewis Skelly down as my left
Oh,
back.
okay. That's
So
only
if
because you
he's
wanted
not
to take
down,
him, but he's not in the list.
all right, okay then. Well, that means he's gone on my list. So that's the extra player.
But yeah, I mean, if you
All
look
right,
at it, then we binned off a couple of defenders there, but we're probably still a little bit heavy on. Got Livramento, Lewis Hall. Where does he play? Is he centre back or is he full back?
left back.
So you got Livramento and Lewis Hall as left back. O'Reilly is a left back as well, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
So even in that list, we've got three. So maybe we do. Maybe we need to bin another left back out of those three to free us up to bring in another striker. In because we've got to bring Watkins into the fold. Because although I've just counted how many we got rid of, we didn't. Watkins would actually make it a 36-man squad. So who's going from left back then? Hall, Livramento. It can't be O'Reilly. We've already locked him in as starter. So it's Hall or Livramento. I like Livramento. I wanted Arsenal to approach Newcastle to sign him. Really do like Livramento.
Well,
Lewis Hall, I don't know enough
maybe
about.
maybe he will keep the three at left back, three at right back, and then
Oh, can we drop Harry Maguire?
five at centre back.
Well, if he keeps all of that, that means we'd have to hack from everywhere else. Now we'd have to go and get rid of. You can't keep all of those if you're going to make a 26-man squad. We're going to have to go and hack some midfielders and forwards. Oh, can't we just drop Harry Maguire?
I'm very happy to drop him.
I am okay. Right. I think kind of let's not go around the loop again, but let's just go back to your kind of feeling around the worst squad ever. So in goal, if we go back, let's just wander down yesteryear. Who's the best goalkeeper that you think in your lifetime we've had?
Shilton.
Shilton. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to be biased and say David Seaman, but that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think both of those two walk into the squad ahead of Pickford.
Yes.
Okay.
But Pickford hasn't made a mistake either in a
He
tournament.
hasn't.
So
Pickford's really close to
yeah.
that. I mean, I think England have always been blessed with too many keepers to pick from. If only we
Hmm.
could breed strikers and midfielders and everything as well as we do goalkeepers, I think we'd be much better. But defense, this is where if I look back and you think, I don't know, Ashley Cole, left back, um, whether you liked Neville or not, Gary Neville, he was a solid right back. There's probably others that
Hmm.
I should be naming that I'm not. And centre backs, we've always just had great centre back partnerships. The defence is what really worries me going into this tournament.
And
Like,
it
really
probably
worries me. Like,
it
I know I'm going to alienate Newcastle fans here, but I don't think Dan Burn is a professional footballer.
that's harsh.
He's
That's harsh.
just a bit of a thug.
He's massive.
He is massive. He's very
He's a,
tall, yeah.
he's a
But I just
man
don't.
mountain.
Oh, man.
Well, so this is the argument to not have Trent because I think Tuchel has looked at it and said, hey, the massive problem with England in this World Cup is the defence is nowhere near as good as it has been in the past. We need to shore that up before anything else happens, and that's why they've had to axe Trent to
So,
secure the defence up. That's my only thought as to why Trent would get left out.
so it's going to be more of a just the back four stay in place. Nobody
Yes,
really overlaps. Just be solid. Let everyone else in front of you do all the creative stuff. You guys stay there and just try to keep the ball out of the net.
yes,
Okay.
I think that's practical.
Yeah. Because then I think I look at other areas and I'm like, do you know what? I think we've got flair and skill throughout the midfield and forward line that is on a par with things we've seen before. I think Kane is as good a striker as strikers we've had along the way. Um, I think on the wings we've got strength. We've had good wingers in the past. We've got good wingers now. I do look at that central creative role and kind of think, well, me and you have seen the likes of Gaza or even Gerard or whoever else in that central role. We should have on paper ones like that, but all the names that we would mention are just not on form. They're just all
Yeah,
gone off the boil big time.
exactly.
So
Like we got to pray that they start playing into form
yeah,
before no, in May, April, May. They've got to
when
come into form, otherwise this could be an early exit.
because he can't really do much outright. Let's say let's wrap this up soon because we'll do another World Cup feature when we get a little bit closer and we've maybe seen how these games are all out. But let's just say that none of those creative guys play their way into form and Eze's injured and doesn't come back. Can you think of anyone in the Premier League at the moment that is sitting on the periphery at the moment that you take a gamble on to bring in and just go on, you're on form?
No,
I
no,
can't. I'm like, I'm thinking down all the top clubs, and unfortunately, this is that argument about bringing so many foreign players into the Premier League. Is you go down all the main teams, and you're like, yeah, they haven't got an English guy in there. They haven't got an English guy in there. So, um, yeah, I'm worried. Maybe I'm going through this is like the classic England fan cycle of we're going to win the cup. Oh my gosh, we're going to get knocked out in the group stage. And right now I'm down in the we could get knocked out in the group stage because I'm looking at this and thinking no one is going to be worried about playing against that defense. I think getting through the midfield will be combative in there. We've got, good ball players, good ball winners that are going to make it difficult to get through us. So let's say it's Anderson and Rice. I think that's comparable with anything else out there. If we win the ball and get it to our forward line, we've definitely got some threat out on the wing. But if people double up on Kane and Saka, I'm looking at this and going, where's our creativity going to come from to unlock defenses? So I'm on the downward spiral now, John. I need you to help me. I need you to tell me why I'm wrong and why we're going to win the World Cup.
I can't. I can't. I agree with myself in the last episode where we talked about England. I just, if we're on form, if every single player is on form, then I could, we could do quite well. But if they're playing like they're playing at the moment, then it's going to be an early exit.
Okay, it's fine. Well, we're going to watch these two friendlies now. Uruguay and Japan are going to get put to the sword, and we're going to come out the other side of that on the upward trend that England are going to win the World Cup. Yeah.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Oh, there's a lot of football to be done before then, though. So who knows? Like you say, people could play their way back into form. New players that we haven't even thought of could suddenly appear. Hey, yeah, Max Downman for England. There we go. There's the Arsenal shout. Hey, come on! If Theo Walcott could go and jump on a plane and be an unused substitute did Ericsson take him as like a 17-year-old? Totally overhyped the kid and then never even used him once. Yeah, let's do that. Right. Okay. I think on that rather depressing note, actually, where we've just convinced ourselves that we're crashing out in the group stage.
I'd love to hear from listeners as to who they think is going to feature and where they think we've gone wrong, and maybe
Yeah.
maybe bring some optimism into the conversation.
bring some optimism at why that it doesn't matter who the players are. It's all about the manager. Tuchel's a serial winner. He's going to get a system installed that it won't matter who the players are, and the system will triumph, and they'll all be like round pegs in round holes, and everything's going to be amazing.
Sounds
Almost
good.
believed it as I said it. Right. Okay, let's fire up the supercomputer and see which Premier League or any team. Actually, I'm just focused on the Premier League. We're going back to the Premier League next week. Although we're not. It's FA Cup anyway. We've got about 3 years to wait before the next round of Premier League fixtures. Anyway, let's fire up the supercomputer and see which team we're going to follow
Mhm.
next. Okay, the supercomputer was listening to me. It's decided it is going to go for a Premier League team. It's kind of interesting for you. It's a local rival to Liverpool. Does that give it
Oh,
away?
Everton.
Yes, Everton. So we are going to need to find ourselves an Everton fan and pick up Everton. I've also got to remind ourselves as to who the heck we're actually following in the FA Cup in this coming round, because who did we? Are we on Port Vale? No, no, we're not on Port Vale, are we? Who the heck did we have? See, this is our.
We had Oxford.
We had Oxford now, and then they went out to the MK Dons, right? And then who did MK Dons go out to? See, we really need to do our homework better to try to remember who the heck. We have this grand idea of following a team all the way to Wembley, and now we can't even actually remember
Because we're getting
who we're
knocked out every
following.
round.
Well, yeah, let me have a look and see who Port Vale had in the previous round. I think I'm wrong on that, but uh, oh no, okay, yeah, it's Port Vale. Because if you
What
remember
about?
when we had Damien on for Sunderland, Sunderland had just beaten whoever it was in the FA Cup, and then Port Vale went and actually knocked them out in the following round. So I believe. Oh no, I might have messed that up as well. I don't know. We'll work it out. We'll sort out who the heck we're actually following in the FA Cup this week. Because see, we go away for a couple of weeks and we forget everything. We don't know who's in the England team. We don't know what FA Cup team we're following. So it's all a little bit of a shambles, just like the England team, apparently.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, I think that was time we call it a day and go and see if we can go and find ourselves an Everton fan and get this whole shambles back under control again. So, all right. Any final words of wisdom, John?
No, no. I just hope in the next set of games we start to see some England. I'm going to be focusing more on the England players than anything else, seeing as Liverpool are out
Yeah,
of the league
that's a
title
good
race.
point. Got it. Well, yeah, you are, but do actually need to start paying attention now to how these players are playing because,
Mm.
like you said when you were kind of before we record, it's like I haven't diverted attention yet to realizing the World Cup is just around the corner. And normally by this time, I've already started looking at players and like thinking, are they playing themselves into contention or not? But it seems to have just crept up on us. Season's almost at an end, and the World Cup's going to be here. So
I think
we've
I
got
think
some.
with my fantasy team, I'm just going to kick everyone out and then just put a full England lineup and start to see how that works out. I mean, it can't do worse than the team I have right now. So,
Yeah, we owe everybody an update on the fantasy. Next episode, we'll
mm.
do an update on the fantasy league. Oh my gosh. I mean, this weekend that's just gone by, it was just a nightmare for multiple reasons. A, obviously the Arsenal result in the cup final, but I didn't know that Man United were playing on Friday. So I went to go and do my team selection on Friday night. Halfway through the United game, of course, it's all locked down now, so I can't do anything. And I had half my team was involved in the cup final. Obviously, didn't score me a single point. So yeah, brilliant. Well done. Right. Right.
And you
On
probably
that
still
note,
beat me.
yeah, probably. Right, on that note, we really will call it a day and we will catch you all next time.